If you look at the UN system, and our job at the UN Foundation is to do everything we can to support and strengthen the UN system with a special focus on issues of energy and climate. If 10 years ago you looked across the UN system and attempted to find energy, you would not find anything on the organization chart that said energy. It was as if all of the development missions that are 50% or more of the mandate of the UN, that all of those development missions had nothing to do with energy whatsoever. You just turn a switch on and presumably that's where the energy comes from. And that has been politically a very tough issue at the UN for some pretty obvious reasons. Particularly the large energy producers have done everything they could to make sure that nobody got involved in their turf whatsoever, that the ideas of distributed power and renewable energy and so on were really left to the side. Kofi Annan began to take this on a little less than 10 years ago in a more systematic fashion, creating for the first time UN Energy. The first time that there was to be a coordinated effort among agencies to take on the energy issue and begin to look at it. After 2 or 3 years of a somewhat halting stop and a change, a halting start, and a change in administrations, not that Ban Ki-moon came in, Ban Ki-moon has been an incredible surprise in taking on the climate issue, and he had no record in that front. It wasn't something that he really came in with as part of a campaign to become Secretary General, but he has made this as much or more than anything his signature item. And pushing UN Energy became therefore a major priority for him, and he asked Kande Yumkella, the head of UNIDO, to take on UN Energy and to see if some greater energy and greater focus could be given to UN Energy. We got together with Kande early on, and a high-level task force was put together to help the UN to think about how it dealt with the issues of energy access. McKinsey became a strong part of that early on to provide a number of the analytics, and I think we now have got some real momentum. The attempt was made building into the meeting going on here in New York this week related to the Millennium Development Goals. The attempt was made for the first time to try to weave energy into the discussion of the MDGs. And if you now look at the documents related to the Millennium Development Goals, for the first time there is reference in each of the Millennium Goals sections, at least reference to, if not very great dependence on, the issue of energy. So institutionally and politically, progress is being made. So while that overall cover is transpiring, the question is, what is the specific agenda that therefore gets carried out? If we have the political agenda and the political support for really trying to move this, what are the barriers to getting this to happen? Why is solar a problem? Why can't people get financing? What's going on among regional power authorities? There are a whole series of questions, of policy questions, a whole series of economic questions, and a whole list of technology questions. And you all are here today to help us to begin to frame what are those key operational issues. Where should the UN system be going from here? How do we define more clearly the energy access question? How do we get this into bites that are handleable? This is an enormously ambitious task. If we think about energy access for the people in the world who have no energy access and therefore don't have a chance. How do we provide energy to 2 billion people who don't have energy today, or to 4 billion people, as Carl points out, who have sources of energy, but they certainly are not the ones that are most appropriate or may not be the ones most appropriate to the world in which they live. This is a huge challenge. But the idea, if you don't ask for the order, you have an absolute chance of not getting there. If we don't set the goal of energy access and then try to back down from that and say, okay, now how do we build up to that goal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a job that you all are going to help us with, and this is a great beginning, building upon what I think is some significant political momentum.